Hello everyone, welcome back. It's really good to be back. Hope you're having a good week. So there was something I witnessed that I wanted to talk about right now. There's a man that has been working with a family for about 8 years now. He got the job initially as a driver, right? But because he was so hardworking and dedicated, his boss kind of promoted him to like a driver PA sort of thing. So anyway, about 2 years ago, his wife had a baby, and about 6 months ago, this baby took ill. Now it has something to do with the heart, so they've been in and out of hospital. Now it can't be any regular hospital, it has to be up to a particular standard. With the current state of the economy, everything has tripled, right? So the bills and everything is literally killing him. Now the boss has given him everything he can to help him, right? But at this point, at a certain point, he could not even afford to pay his rent because of the hospital bills and everything. So anyway, his boss eventually sent him money and he stole the money. Now they got the police involved. To be honest, I don't know the outcome of it, but I'm really hoping he wasn't arrested because, like I said, it's completely out of character for him, but he was in dire straits, right? Now, this is what I wanted to say. How do you, in this economy, how do you encourage people to stay upright? How do you say to people, avoid temptation, but hold on to God, trust God, everything will be fine. Now, especially when you're talking to people that don't even know where their next meal is going to come from, that don't know how to even pay their rent. How do you encourage them in this season, in this time? Do you understand? How do you say to people that, oh, don't worry, when there's a casting down, we will say there's a lifting up, How do you do that? Because one thing I think about all the time is that God forbid things don't change. I'm wondering what it will be like a year down the line. Do you understand? The crime rate and the state of immorality would have tripled and nobody will see anything wrong with it. Yesterday, I saw a post by someone saying, for the first time in my life, I'm beginning to understand why people do fraud, because that person was really in need of money. So how do you encourage people in this season? Now, there's something I wanted to talk about, right? And I know I've talked about this in so many ways. I've talked about it. I've made reference to it so many times. But I want to talk about it from a place of encouragement, right? And this is a personal experience I had. So, and I'm like I said, I'm talking really fast because of my time. So, back in 2019, right, I lost a family member. Now, this is somebody that took charge of everything. This was somebody that I was so certain, like I put my hope in this person that even if the sky is falling, I'll be fine. So literally, I put my hope and my trust in a human being like myself, and then they passed away, right? So after she passed away, my world came literally crashing down. I was totally lost because, like I said, this is the person that took care of everything. So at some point, extended family members started saying to me, well, this person is gone now, and that's the person that takes care of everything. So you're going to be so it's your turn now to take care of everybody. Now, please don't get me wrong. Taking care of people is what I do. I have absolutely no problem with that. But to be able to take care of other people, you yourself have to be whole, right? And I was totally lost. Like I said, my world came completely crashing down. So at some point, I changed my numbers, just blocking out everybody because I didn't know how to survive. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't understand anything. But I held on to the only thing I knew, which was my work. So I threw myself into my work and I just kept working because that was all I knew. That was all I understood. And it was the only thing that kept me going. So come 2020, I'd literally worked myself into exhaustion. But however, things were going great on the work front, right? I had so many contracts. Like there was a particular project I had, and this particular project was going to afford me to open restaurants in so many, like in a few prime areas, right? So it was a partnership I was supposed to go into that was supposed to afford me. I would be able to open a restaurant in so many choice areas. Anyway, so I had so many things going on. Now, in 2020, I felt like, okay, maybe I'm a bit stronger now. Let me go back to the things I left hanging in 2019, right? And as soon as I made that decision, everything else in my life came crashing down. Like every single contract was gone. I lost every single thing. Now, it was at the same time, like I said, I changed my number, so I blocked out most of my extended family, At the same time, friends walked out and everything just went wrong at the same time. Now, can you imagine being in the middle of the ocean, but you're still very, very thirsty, right? So, I wasn't broke at all. Like, I could not be referred to as broke, not in any way, shape, or form. However, I had no money. I had no money at all. So one day I got up and I couldn't even afford to buy a bottle of water. It got that bad. Like I said, middle of the ocean, very thirsty. I couldn't access anything. So I got up that day. I was really, really upset. I got really angry. And I was thinking to myself, how did I get here? Like, how did I go from having everything to just, I even had to move houses. I had to downsize like drastically, to that until I got to that point. Anyway, so that day I was really frustrated. And rather than panic, I just thought to myself, you know what? I don't deserve this. I mean, at the end of the day, who's to say what I deserved, right? I was never much of a saint. No, I wasn't a saint. But I was aware of my sins. Like, I felt like I sinned in moderation, right? Having lived a bit of a sheltered life, sometimes I rebel against that and I just throw all caution to the wind in the past. So I'll just throw all caution to the wind and do certain things, but I knew my limits. So anyway, so that day I got up from my bed. I was really angry. And so I started to talk to God. And I said to God that, okay, fine. Here's the thing. You said I should trust you, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to trust you with everything I have. I will not deviate. I will walk on a straight path. But what I will not do, I will not call anybody or ask anybody for help. I will not depend on anybody. Now, don't get me wrong. I could have picked up my phone to call like one or two, like immediate family, and they would have done something, but I wasn't going to do that because that was never my pact with God. My pact with God was always to give, not the other way around, and I would not be reduced to that. So I started to talk to God that I will not call anybody. I will depend on you. Like, people call me stubborn, right? So for the first time, I was going to channel my stubbornness towards something good. I was going to channel it towards God. So I said to God that I won't deviate. I will trust in you. Now, it's even good that I don't even have money. So I don't have water. I don't have food. That's fine. I'm going to fast. And I will fast every single day. I will keep on fasting. So either you change my situation, because it was bigger than just not having money. Do you understand? So many things had gone wrong at the same time. I knew the only solution I had was God. So I said to myself, I will fast. And either you change my situation or you call me to glory. You will choose one. And I went like that. So the first day went like that. Now, at some point during that day, I stepped out of my apartment and I saw my neighbor. I know how life works. So my neighbor said, oh, I made this and I made that. Do you want to eat some? I was like, no. So anyway, I said, no, I'm fine and everything. And the day went like that. So come the next day, I continued fasting. About midday, a friend of mine called me, and this person I've not spoken to in like a year or in like a year. I mean, she moved out of the country and everything. And I just picked up the phone, and the first thing she said to me, are you okay? I was like, yeah. At that time, we'd been friends for about 6 years. So this is something that's never happened before. So she just said, are you okay? I was like, yeah. And she said, send me your account details. As soon as she said that, I bursted out crying. And she was like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I just could not stop crying because in my head, I wasn't sad. In my head, I was thinking, oh my God, this is real. God is actually real. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And, she would say, what's wrong, what's wrong? But I didn't even say, I just kept on crying. And she said, okay, you know what? I know you're not going to send it to me because I don't know what's going on. Can you call out your account numbers to me whilst I'm on the phone? And I was like, fine. As soon as we're talking, I got the alert and I cried even more. So she just said to me, you know what, I'll call you back later. Now, this is something that has never happened. And in my head, I'm thinking, so it's like that. So God is real. It's not that I did not know that God is real, but this was like a first-hand experience. You understand? I was like, so if I can put my trust in God like this, he would come true for me. Oh my God, this is real, this is real. So I couldn't stop crying. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Since that day, I haven't gone back on my path with God. And since that day, God has not disappointed me, not once. When things are not going right sometimes, I just get up and I start to say, and I start chanting it. I trust you, God. The situation in my life will not cause me to distrust you. I trust you. I trust you. Oh, obviously, when you've experienced something, it's so much easier to believe, right? And I'm sorry I'm rushing through this. But what I'm trying to say is most of the time when we're asked to pray, when we go to our places of worship and we're asked to pray for help and everything, we always have something or somebody's mind, or something or someone in mind. Oh, that rich auntie, that rich uncle, oh, that's oil company person, or whatever it is. So what we do is we pray in our places of worship, then we run home to go and call them and everything. And then when they don't come true for us, then we turn around and say, God is not doing it. After praying, God did not do it. But what you did is you prayed and you put it in God's hand, but then you went home and took it out of God's hands and handled it yourself. The fact that you're rich, your auntie or your uncle or whoever is rich does not mean they're destined to help you. Why don't you leave that to God? Because the word of God says, strangers shall build up my walls. The sons of aliens are coming to bless me. Your auntie and your uncle and whoever are not strangers, and they are definitely not aliens because they're not foreign to you. They're people you know. Don't get me wrong, God will still send a human being to you, but leave that to him. It might be your rich auntie or rich uncle that he will send to you at the end of the day, but at that time he would have mandated them to come and help you. What I'm saying is, look at the birds of the air. They don't worry about what they will eat, what they will wear, where they will sleep. If God can do that for them, how much more you? Beautiful, fearfully and wonderfully made, a man after his own likeness. How much more you? Why do you have to worry about the design if you have the designer in your life? Why do you worry about the things you need when if the creator of all things is in your life, why would you have to worry about the things you need? He will give it to you in abundance. All you have to do is trust. Now, what I'm saying is, nobody knows how good or bad it will get. But one thing you should know, and one thing you should be sure about that does not change, is the love of God, is the grace of God, is the power of God. That will never change. So in this season and in this time of uncertainty, one thing is certain, that if you let go completely and you put all your trust and your hope in God, what you're doing is mandating him to live up to his word and to his name and come through for you and change your situation. Namaste.